Welcome back to our channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, your time. Thank you guys for your continuous support. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't and turn on the bell for more video. Welcome our new members to the old ones. God bless you. If you're passing by, please join us as you're supporting us. May the Lord support you in everything you lay your hand to. Amen. It's no longer news that Chief Sunday's house was attacked by the military and the DSS. And Chief Ayo has this to say. He condemns the attack. Please watch. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the bell for more video. Please watch.
Chief Ayo Adembanjo. Good afternoon, Chief Ayo Adembanjo.
Good afternoon.
It's good to have you join us again on this show. You've seen what has been going. Yes, sir. You've seen.
It is a pleasure and it is a sad day for me and for the Yoruba land.
I see. Well, you've seen what is happening, what has happened yesterday, and what we still have at hand. Let me first ask you, what was your thought yesterday when the raid happened, before we know that it was done by the DSS?
I said immediately, I made a statement. It brought my mind back to the Abacha days, when the Adeko and Afenfere were opposed to his administration.
DSS.
And he started to try to kill all of us. They raided the houses of leading Adeko members. They bombed the house of General Akinade. They killed everyone. They attempted to kill Papa Adesoya. And all that. And some of us just escaped by their breath. So when I heard it, I said, I have no doubt this couldn't have been done by any other person, but by it's an executive action. And I've been saying it before, that General Buhari's administration has a hidden agenda to Fulanize this country. Now, from the statement they have made out today, they say they have information that he has arms in his house. Yeah, I know. You go there, give a warrant of arrest, a warrant to search, and do your job. Even there was false entry that you have to fight. That means that if you break the house, that will show you the evil intention to kill everybody there. Is that the job of a democratic government? If you have a criminal, you arrest him and prosecute him. And you allow the law to take its course. In a country that's under constitutional democracy. And my dear, yes, a man said they have an information. Whereas, since when the issue had started from Kaduna, Southern Kaduna, they killed about 800 people there. In December 2018, they killed 800 Christians on Christmas Eve. It's on record. But at that time, he sent the vice president there to go and locate to stop the uprising. The following day, it happened. He did not send the army and the DSS after the conference. Now, they went to Agatu, they went to Wakodi, and not he knows the people who have come to raid these people. They killed about 70 or 800 people all day. And he went to General Buhari. Then they come and say, you are the man in charge of law and you know, I'm a human being. What did he tell him? The man told him he has a letter, he knows the people. Listen, he knows the people. He wrote him, they wrote him, and he said they are coming back again because they are doing out the land. Come and save me. He did not send the army and the DSS after that. Those people who are giving him the letter, they wrote. He did not send the army and then after them. He did not even declare their own ammunition illegal. For years, we have been shouting that Abdullah Fulani are carrying arms. They don't do anything with AK-47. He said this. Back he said it in a letter to him. Everybody was saying that for the first time, we know that these are the people doing the havoc in the whole of the country, kidnapping, raping the private farmers of their land. That went that way. He's not acting there. Now, the whole of southern governors now, all the time we have been shouting, they regarded it as if this is opposition. But the whole of the governors, elected governors in the south, both parties, government, APC and PDP, now come to the conclusion that the unrest in their place is because of these Fulani herdsmen doing open grazing. And they pass a law that it should be stopped. And they ask you, Mr. President, let us have a dialogue to stop all these things. What is his reply? Just ignore them. And half of the country now says this is what we want, elected governors like himself. He now said was going to rake up an old law, which all the lawyers in the country have said does not exist. Those who said it exists in the north. And they asked him to produce the gazette, nothing doing. Just carried on. And they told him this open grazing is causing insecurity. He said anybody talking about structuring, they should forget it. That is the cause of the problem now. And I say, all that is not interested in the United Nigeria in peace. He is pursuing a Fulani domination. And so unfortunate. Even some elements I regard and respect. The Sultan of Sokoto, Abubakar, recently said in the newspapers that there is freedom of movement throughout Nigeria, in the market and in the forest. You see that? That is the language that Akeredolu used to drive away Fulani herdsmen in Ondo. They are occupying the forest reserve, and they should get away. Now, Buhari is now backed by the Sultan that don't mind them, they're encouraging these people that they have the freedom to go anywhere in the market and in the forest. There are no forests in the north. So all this just to show you that the game plan is to Fulanize. It's not a question of having us together in peace. And the people whom you say we are asking for restructuring for peace, what does it matter? All we are saying is send us back to federalism that we had at independence. It's a great matter. And I illustrated by saying this federalism I'm talking about was agreed to by the founding fathers of this nation. I am a living witness. It was agreed to by the Saudana, by the Azikwe, and Chifaolo. They have not denied it. And it was the agreement they made in 1954 in London that they carried out to 1960. The agreement was partially implemented in 1957 when the East and the West was granted independence. And when the East of the state then became self-governing with their constitution written separately. These are all the background that we have. So we are under siege in the West.
Yes. Chief Adebanjo, I'm sure you must have read or listened to the statement of the Department of State Security last night. They accused Mr. Sunday Igboho of stockpiling arms. And citing that as one of the reasons why they raided his place. They also said they engaged in gun battle, and that led to the killings of two people. What do you make of that?
My dear, around nonsense. Around nonsense. Is that the way to do the constitutional common democracy? To invade somebody's house in the midnight? The dictatorial tendency of this administration has been on. That is the way they will let the answers of judges, saying they are looking for corruption. They are looking for corrupt judges. And there's no how in arresting these people. I don't say they shouldn't do that. There's a constitutional and procedural democratic way to be done. It is just like when they say, oh, you are now asking me to react to the full announcement. All right, shoot aside. And I criticize it. That is not done in democracy. Shoot aside is a reckless statement to kill the opposition. When they kill me now, they say they find some evidence on self with me. Who is to prove it? A dead man doesn't talk. So that statement doesn't carry weight in the circumstance of this country now. And also, don't forget, whatever arm you now say this man is carrying, have you done the same thing with similar people who have been doing havoc, and we have told you that is the bipartisan way, nepotistic way of ruling this country. I have given the instance of Autumn, who said he knows the people who have come to kill him, raided his place, abducted his people, drove them away from their ancestral home, and said, Mr. President, come and help me. He didn't send the army there. That's the point we are making. Why is it on Igboho? And also, Igboho is known to be shouting for self-government for his people. That's his method. It may be wrong. I don't agree with violence. And it's not violence. It's just saying, give me my independence. That's an approach. Is there no freedom of movement and association in this country? If he has committed any crime, as you are alleging, I have no objection to it, but that is not the way to prosecute him. That is not the way you have acted in similar cases who are your nationality. And mind you, this is what Dan Juma said before, that what this government is doing is ethnic cleansing. It is coming out in various ways, it's ethnic cleansing. When they were rampaging these people of Southern Kaduna, Agatu, and this, the man didn't do anything. They are the people who are not Fulani. So all this action that is taken, it is when the people is taking action and react. Then they say, oh, they are killing the Fulani. But he doesn't talk of the action that causes the reaction. When you say you find arms in his house, yes, a man who knows that when the people attack them, you turn the blind eye. So he harmed himself against people coming to attack him, which he did. So it's not a defense at all for DSCC, because that's not the way they have been acting before. And they should dispute that. That when Otto went to him, that they killed his people, many, drove them out of their ancestral home. Not once, not twice, not thrice. You didn't act that you are acting. The Boko Haram are testing on. You don't show that you are acting. It is the local people who are resisting your tyranny that you are very active about. You are very effective to arrest the Kanu, who says because of your oppression in the country, let my country get out. The reason is that his tribe is being excluded from the government, which is obvious. And I tell you, sir, the way the Buhari is doing is deliberate. That is why all the security architecture in the country is in the hands of the Fulani. That is why he refuses to change. In spite of opposition, in spite of criticism, that you can't keep the security architecture in the hands of a section of the country. All the Inspector General of Police, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Air Staff, Custom, Immigration, and all the parameters are dominated by the Fulani.
Okay, Chief. Speaking of the rearrest of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB, we had an interview with the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, where he spoke about this, and he said that the bandits, the terrorists or the bandits now, they do not have a centralized leader like IPOB does. They do not have a centralized leader, so you can't compare the two. How would you react to this statement of his?
That's just picking hairs. I have given instances of how Tom is the governor of the state who the rampage his village, and he came to you and said, I have the list. Yeah, the people. Even the Inspector General of Police, he located there in January. Listen, in April, he didn't know whether this man went there or not. He turned a blind eye, and the man was still in office by the time he was querying him in April. The commander-in-chief gave in January, and it was a lot of pressure before this negligent inspector of police was not extended in the service. It's all deliberate action. And the question of open grazing that we are talking about that is causing confusion now, the whole of the South, and even the northern governors, Kaduna and El-Rufai and Kanu, they all said they condemn open grazing. And the man who has a private intention said, no, I have a law that will permit them. And that encourages those people who are carrying arms doing havoc. That's why you look at it. You don't know where the wool across our eyes at all. There's no evil judgment, evil dispensation of justice in the approach to the criminals. If it's the way it's now dealing with the Bo Afro, as it dealt with the Louisiana like that, in spite of open evidence, in spite of opposition, in spite of complaint, that is the issue. And can you explain why all the security architecture in the country is in the hands of the Fulani? And when the governors of the South, the whole governors of the South, ask for protection to have their own state police, he said they can't carry arms. And the people that are going to defend are carrying arms. There is no law against that one. But they don't allow Buhari to draw any wool against anybody. They are too intelligent and too advanced for all that. It's all a game. He has a global intention to Fulanize. And when I said that before, they say I'm just playing game. I give you an evidence. When the Asman had been accused as Fulani, when he came to office 2015, he said, no, stop calling them Fulani, don't label them. How are you sure that they are Fulani? But when the pressure became so clear that these people are really Fulani, what did Buhari say? He said, no, they are not local Fulani. They are Fulani from the north, from Gaddafi. It's on record. Then I asked the question. He said they are from the north, which means they are foreigners. How did foreigner enter our country? And you are the chief security officer of the state to defend life and property, to defend the territory against invaders. You are in charge of immigration. Your people are in the custom. How did they enter? If even they enter, you don't know, when we now catch them, your excuse is that they are foreigners. Is it because they are foreigners going to arrest criminals? I want you to follow the logic. That was there. Again, when the governor of Niger said these people have come home, they have invaded my area, they drove away the local government and put their flag there. He called the owner of the country in the video that because they are there. What did the commander-in-chief say? Nothing till today. There is no evidence to show that the man has a game plan for the Fulani. When I now say they want to Fulanize the country, what federal officer do you want? They are Fulani, whom you said they are Fulani from abroad. They enter the country, they put the flag there, they invade something. You are not active, your DSS and army are not active to drive them away. The governor of Niger openly said they have put their flag there. But these are open evidence, except anybody want to deny.
Okay, so I know you've been a very vocal person on the quest for restructuring, but from all indications now, it doesn't seem like the government of the day is keen on restructuring. So are you still pursuing this, or you're going with the Yoruba nation
My,
secession?
you remember when you interviewed me last time, I told you, and I mean it, and I'm sincere about it. I don't support secession, but I don't oppose it. You see that? Why? The people who are calling for secession is what Buhari is doing now to our people. They are impatient. And I said that it was the youth who are suffering for unemployment, for oppression of the police under Buhari, for discriminatory administration. But we are putting that to them that, well, if the constitution that gives you the power, well, that is important. So it will not restructure because the power is using to oppress us now is created under this constitution that we say we don't know about. This constitution is imposed on us by the military after the military took over in 1966. I have said it openly, they have not denied. And they say we are federal. They say, are we federal? They say they say no. And we mentioned the name that is Salam, a military man who made this constitution. His man is still alive. He didn't deny that. Then I said, well, okay, if we don't want to go back to the constitution we all agree to, let us have a dialogue to agree on what we do. He refused. Even the old southern government said, let us have a dialogue. We are the peaceful people. Look at it, because when the man started to shout their arms, they are doing this, they are not talking about what has led to that. It is because he has refused a peaceful something. That is what is giving right to the Igbo and the Nankano. And I told you at that time that today, if you structure the country back to federalism, and we have our state police, state local government, and the autonomy you have under a federal constitution, all this agitation will die down. I still pursue that line. As he called us to say, okay, let's see. If he's negotiating with bandits, encouraging them to get ransom, he can't negotiate with citizens who are clamoring for justice. If you are really sincere, those are the questions you examine. Don't all this wood is putting against wood. We are past that. And as I told you before, this constitution I'm talking about, I know the beginning. And by the time we are fighting for a united country, he was in the primary school. He cannot tell us that we want to break the country. I think that's not possible. The Yorubas in particular, we have invested and fought for the unity of this country. And we have sacrificed everything. And I also gave the instance that when the crisis came in 1953, in the western of the federal house, and Savannah, the leader of the northern region, they said they are no longer to be in Nigeria. Zaraba, he made the 9-point program. These are all statements I've said before, which are not refuted. It was Chief Audo who convinced him to come back to the federation. That if you have this federal constitution, you will have the autonomy you require and develop at your own space. They have not denied that. And that was what they had as independence. Until the military did this something. That is why you should examine our problem. The international community should look at that. Whether we are just agitators or we are legitimate people clamoring for peace and justice. One is just bamboozling everybody. If you don't do this, you don't want Nigeria. It is he who is provoking everybody to war. And I said this, Opeyemi, all the things Buhari is doing now is intentional. He wanted to provoke the West and other parts of the country to react. So by the time he did this to go down, If anybody does anything, then he bring the forces of the government and declare a state of emergency. That you can't have any election under this troublesome thing. And then he will extend his exterior. Watch it. I have said it now. If it is not so, why is it a long time for a dialogue? The whole country said we don't want this constitution. The whole country proved that this constitution is not our own. He has not refuted that. Then now said that you are going to change it, go to the National Assembly. The National Assembly is a product of the fraudulent constitution. I said that. How can the beneficiary of the fraud change the fraud? We are not fools.
Okay,
So the
Chief.
international, I'm appealing to the international community. We are now safe particularly in the South and the Middle West. We are under a tyrant that will kill anybody that is in opposition. That is what is happening to Igboho.
Thank you, Chief Adebanjo. Let me quickly take you back to the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu. You noticed that the raid on the Chief Sunday Igboho's house came just a few days after Nnamdi Kanu was rearrested and presented before the court, the Federal High Court in Abuja. Do you see a pattern in this?
There is, I told you the program, he wants to silence all opposition. Nnamdi Kanu, in spite of the fact that all the leaders in the South say we don't want war. Give us a constitution of our own. It is the refusal to do what the peaceful people want that is giving rise to Kanu. We have said that. He chose not to listen to that. He chose to be listening to those who are impatient with his tyrannical government. That is the issue. It is not a question of whether he's doing this or he's doing that. He has no good intention for Nigeria. He has a global intention to Fulanize the country. And what we are fighting for, we have got away out of British colonialism. He can't put us, we refuse to be under Fulani domination. He must have arrested Igboho, he must have killed anybody to think that he will compress us with this constitution because he has the power under it, under this constitution that is imposed, that is made by the military, by himself. He's the most powerful president in the whole world. If that is not so, why does he refuse to change this to what we all agree to? That is the question you independent people should ask him. We are all the whole country saying this constitution is a fraud. If you say no, all right, let us sit down and make another one. The way one in 2014, Jonathan handed over, you say you don't agree. I said, well, okay, if you don't want that, set up your own constitution. Why is he insistent on giving on amending a constitution we say we don't know about? How can you prohibit a car that's supposed to be a write-off? Not possible.
Okay, it is important to state that over time the federal government has also come out to say no. The president has no plan to Fulanize the country. So
he was
forward now.
They have got.
Yes, I mean, I said the.
Okay,
yes, I'm just putting that. I'm just putting that out. So
that is what he is saying. Does it ask it?
All right.
It is not what he said, but what by action. What is he doing? What is he doing by action? An elected president refusing the wishes of the people, even from his own party. The restructuring we are talking about now is in the manifesto of the APC. And the APC governors are part of the southern government that say, no, Mr. President, this is what we want. Let us have a dialogue. But because of the power he has, he just ignores everybody. He has just said to invade you. That is the way Abacha was ruling us, was killing us, when we are saying, no, Abacha, this ruling is too bad. But God has a way of getting us out of it too. I've said it before.
Okay, Chief Adebanjo. If you just join us, this is now BBC Pidgin, and we've been talk to Chief Adebanjo. He's a leader of Afenifere and the Southwest region of Nigeria. And the followers talk about the raid on the house of Chief Sunday Igbo, a popular Yoruba activist and a frontline member of the Yoruba Nation agitators. And yeah, okay. I want to let you go very soon. So let me just ask you. We know that before this whole raid and by the DSS on his house, Igbo was planning to have a rally in Lagos State.
That was what
yes.
led to his arrest.
Yes, when we spoke to him yesterday, he told us that that will have to be suspended. But he appears now with the DSS statement. His followers are saying they are going ahead with that rally against his position, and of course against the position of the security in the state. What would your advice be?
You know, when you are a dictator, you have no choice. We are only appealing to the international body to come and save us. They are afraid because of that rally, because of the success of that rally in other regions. They cannot assemble a crowd. It goes assembly in all these places, clamoring for secession because this government is bad. So they don't want it to carry to Lagos. There is even an allegation that the former governor of Lagos State is privy to this action. But I don't believe in the answer, but the action justifies it. They are afraid of that. That's what they are connecting. By the time they silence everybody, and I tell you, Bayemi, anytime you can hear that I am dead, any opposition, no opposition like me, no. After my children, I'm 93. There's no big deal about that. That will not stop me. If I don't talk about the freedom of my people, who is to talk? Those who we persuaded to come and have independence are now telling us the way we are trying to use it, dominating us. It will not work. He may arrest Igbo, he may kill Adebanjo, he may kill everybody. The people will rise against tyranny. That you know. Those who make peaceful change impossible, make violent change inevitable. That is what is happening.
So what would your advice be for those people who are saying they are going to have the rally despite Igbo's position to suspend it and the police warning to not hold it?
My dear, I am in law about this citizen. Everybody now knows why they say they shouldn't hold it. We have made a point. They don't insist. If they go there now, they go and kill them. And they say they are not obeying law. I will advise them to stop the rally. You should be praying to God and appeal to international community to come and save us from Buhari dictatorship. It is not clear. Only those young men who are vocal about the opposition, about the tyranny, those of us who are asking for peaceful change, he doesn't listen to us. He ignores us as if he doesn't know what is happening. So my advice to them is to stop the rally. There's no point exposing themselves. They are not armed. It's going there with full arm, the weight of the government, which he can't use against the Boko Haram people. He says they have no leader. But they know Gumi is going to Boko Haram to negotiate for the rescue of those they kidnapped. Gumi could go in and out and negotiate, but the army can't go there to arrest them. You see the irony? They now think that they are talking to babies. They have got cattle brain. I want to repeat if you don't understand. You told me that they say Boko Haram haven't got the leader. But they have a negotiator who bargains for them when they kidnap, which is this Fulani are doing. Not once, not twice, they kidnap our children and everything. You pay ransom. You can't follow, you have no technicality, you have no other to follow Gumi. to where he's negotiating in a case 1, 2, 3. It's a pattern now. But all these things are clear evidence of intention to molest the people, to coerce them. All that is doing that anybody opposed to him, well, by the time Go is gone, Uganda is incarcerated. By the time they go out in bed, is the only one shouting now. By the time he's gone, we see who come out. They now terrify people. Nobody now have to say, they just tell you, you better leave him alone. No? Which is the pressure I am having now. I am not popular. Okay, I have told you, I am not popular in Yoruba land for saying we want discussion. They say they are tired. They say, you old man don't know what is happening. And he is confirming these agitators. He's confirming that, and I said this. Look, they just meet and stop these people. He didn't pay attention to that. Okay, please tell the whole world. Ask Buhari why does he not pursue the peaceful solution people are asking for? Why? If it means why? If it is not because all the security architecture are in his hands, in the hands of his offensive group. Even the Federal Republic of Northern Region, none of Nigeria, Northern police, Northern army. All the people came to Igbo's house, asked them, how many Yorubas or Southerners are in that group?
Okay, thank you very much, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, for sharing your thoughts with us this afternoon on BBC Pidgin.